Yo, how's it going, mofos? I think it's been a significant amount of time since I've done a build video, my one and only build video, probably like 2 years ago at this point, and the game has changed a lot since then, so I think you guys are due for an update. So with the Edge of Fate, we've had a complete stat overhaul. A lot of these are similar to how they used to perform, but now there's like little benefits and a completely new weapon stat, which we'll get into shortly. But this is the build I've always used. I've always used the Secant Filaments, and I've always been a Devour Voidwalker. And we're just going to kind of dive in and show you guys what I spec into and what works. For those who don't know what Secant Filaments does, basically, if you have a Void Super equipped and you have an Empowering Rift, all you got to do is cast your Rift and you get Devour. Devour obviously refills your health. Not as much as it used to, but still gets the job done. Warlocks used to be able to consume their grenade and get Devour on demand, but I think the Witch Queen, they took that ability away from us and instead gave us this, which, I mean, it sucked at the time, but I've just gotten used to it. I've used it for so long, and these are great, don't get me wrong, but if we had that ability again, I would 100% throw these away and use, like, Ophidians instead. Alright, we're gonna go over the fragments and aspects and all that good stuff first. So if you're playing Voidwalker, I personally go with Vortex Nova Bomb. Like, even if you do miss someone, it'll like pull them, it'll yank them in and kill them most of the time, sometimes not.
Dude, that's crazy that pulls me. Oh my god.
And the reason I choose this over like Cataclysm is because sometimes in PvP, the little seekers that shoot out of the big Nova Bomb will sometimes just explode and they don't seek anyone out. And it's a lot slower, so it's not easy to dodge, but it's a lot easier. And then Nova Warp, just the cooldown's too long for my liking, and I don't think it's all that great, but I don't know. This is just what I've used for the longest time. For your Rift, obviously Empowering Rift, there's no point in using anything else here. For your jump, if you're good with Blink, I would say go with Blink here. I am not good with Blink. I've used Burst Glide since 2014. On D1, so, and once you get good with Burst Glide, I do think it's the best. So Pocket Singularity in the near future is getting a buff. It might have already been buffed by the time this video comes out. So as of right now, we only have one melee charge, and I'd say it goes a pretty good distance. So in the next update, we're going to be getting a second charge, and the Seeker is going to fly farther before it detonates. So instead of like maybe here as a max distance, I think they're almost doubling the time, so you might be able to sit back here and throw a melee, which is very good. My only problem with this, though, is they're reducing the knockback on the melee, which I'm sure you've seen or experienced a Warlock melee, like, nudging you out of cover or flying you off the map, you know, it works pretty well. But they're cutting that in half. So, not too sure how I feel about that, but I think 2 is going to be super potent. So for grenades, the longest time, I always use Vortex Nade. It's good for, you know, throwing at barricades or flag cap points or just blocking off like a line of sight or an area, so you don't want anyone to push. At some point, I'm pretty sure they nerfed the damage on these like pretty bad, and the cooldown on it is like way longer than pretty much everything else in here, I think. I don't know, they got rid of the cooldown timer whenever you hover over grenades for some reason. So I switched to Scatter Nade. Scatter Nades got nerfed. They're still good, but you really have to pepper someone down before this will actually kill someone. I'm probably going to lean towards Axiom Bolts or Magnetic Grenades from now on. Magnetic Nades, I think you only need to hit like a hand cannon headshot and then you stick them and free kill. Then Axiom Bolts have always been good at applying pressure to someone. Like they either have to concentrate and shoot the grenade or run away. So honestly, I'm probably going to give that a go from now on. So for your aspects, obviously you want Feed the Void. This build runs off of Devour, so the more ways you can proc Devour, the better. And for some reason, Bungie decided to nerf Devour, which I assume is a PvE thing, but has now bled over into PvP for no good reason, personally. We're getting healed less. I believe it was 200 HP on a kill, but now it's 140, which doesn't sound crazy, but it is. Like, my ability to re-challenge people when I was like one shot from a gunfight is now like, it's pretty iffy on if I win or not. Before it was just like pretty much guaranteed I would win the next gunfight. So unfortunate. I guarantee they're not going to undo that. That's just how it is, and we're going to have to deal with it. And for the other aspect, Child of the Old Gods, everyone hates these things. I personally don't think they're that bad. I've been using them for so long. Ideally, block it with cover, or just take the 2 seconds to shoot it. Like, no one's forcing you to just stand there and get damaged by this thing. Like, it's pretty easy to avoid, in my opinion. But, you know, maybe I'm just a little biased. And a lot of the freaking time, this thing will just get, like, stuck in a wall, you know? I mean, I can't really show it off right now, but this thing will just try to track someone and then just get stuck on a wall. So it really is, like 30% of the time it is just wasted. Okay, so now onto the fragments. Void fragments have always been super strong. I change them based on what game type I'm playing. So, for example, Echo of Leeching is great for when you don't have Devour procced and, you know, you obviously get into a situation where you need to melee someone and you'll get the health back without having Devour procced. It's pretty nice. This is what I would use for, like, trials or comp or maybe even Rumble. Like, situations where you're not getting gunned down by 2 or 3 people at a time, you know, like where you can actually get in a one-on-one engagement. And when I'm playing 6s, I will put on Echo Starvation, because orbs shit out like crazy in 6s, so you're more likely to have Devour procced, and you're not really necessarily going to have to rely on having this aspect on, like when you melee someone. So I kind of switch these out, and you can obviously build into this with orb generating mods on your helmet, or like the Reaper mod. So after you use your class ability, it'll shit out an orb when you kill someone, which is something you will be doing a lot if you build into it. Echo of Expulsion, I always kind of used for the +10 to the super or intellect, whatever the hell it used to be called. I don't think it's as necessary anymore. Like, the void explosions are cool, but they very rarely will help you out. So honestly, I would probably use Echo of Vigilance, and this is going to happen a lot. If you, like, barely come out on top of a gunfight, you'll get a full overshield, and assuming you have Devour procced, you're going to have damn near full health and a full overshield, and that'll make challenging your next gunfight way easier. You're way more likely to win, so probably gonna rock this from now on. Dilation just for the +10 to super and weapon stat. I'm not really crouching too often. And persistence, I think, is a must. Without persistence, I think you're only getting like maybe 6 to 7 seconds of Devour, like whenever you proc it. Like, it's not a lot, or maybe it's 10, I don't remember. There's been a bug since the final shape. As far as I know, I've posted about it on Bungie, and they know it's a bug. They've acknowledged it, so I'll do it here. When you proc your Rift, you'll see my Devour timer is supposed to be at 17 seconds, but then drops down to 10 and 11. And whenever I walk back in, I can reproc it, right? I wait for my Devour to go away. So watch what happens when I run through the Rift. 17 seconds of Devour. I have kept it. So what you don't want to do when you do what I just did is stand longer in that Rift than like 1 second. Otherwise, it'll refresh to 10 and you'll lose like 6 seconds of Devour. Don't know why. They haven't fixed it. They know it's a problem, and they either can't figure it out or they just don't give a shit. So that's kind of the gist of the subclass breakdown. We can get into the stat distribution here, and this isn't like dialed in 100% because I'm still grinding for my armor. I got tier 4s mostly. Like, I'm still trying to figure shit out myself. I think I'm gonna spec out of weapons. I don't think it's as big of a deal as I thought it was going to be. You're gonna want 100 class stat. I don't think you want to go over. I think it's kind of a waste of time. You're getting a big chunk of health anyways when you use your Rift and get Devour. And that little bit of overshield's not really going to make or break a gunfight. If you can, I would do 90 or 100 super. You don't need to go past that, because past that is just super damage. Not going to make a difference. Because I was running like 60 to 70 super, and I was not getting my super in a game till like the very end. And it's not that hard to invest into it, so 90 to 100 for sure. And you'll probably notice that my health stat is pretty freaking low compared to most people. Everyone's investing heavy into health because the base health regeneration sucks ass. And unless you're past 100, you're not getting an increase to your recovery time. But the way I look at it is that I have so many ways to proc Devour, whether that's using my Rift and killing people afterwards. If I'm running Starvation and I pick up orbs, I'll get Devour, and you're getting a little bit of health whenever you pick up orbs anyways. And if I'm using something like Heal Clip, which I don't have a gun on me right now that has it, but if I'm using Heal Clip, that's another way to get health. So trying to find ways to heal right now is not super difficult. It does happen in slower paced game modes where you'll find yourself at low health and you have no way to proc it. It happens. If that is make or break for you, then I guess obviously invest a little more into your health stat. And I will be able to with tier 5s. I'm just not there yet. As for the other two stats, melee and grenade, cooldowns are so fast right now that you don't really need to invest a whole lot into these. With the melee update that's happening, you might want to consider investing a little bit into your melee stat. But as of right now, cooldowns are so quick, it's not really that big of a deal. Oh yeah, and armor set bonus, picking up an ammo brick heals you, so that's another way to get health. Another nice buff that's coming to Warlocks is they're buffing Empowering Rifts. Standing in your rift now generates ability energy over time. I'm not sure how much, but some is better than none. And you're also going to be generating more special and heavy ammo, so that's a nice change. And you're already getting class ability energy back while Devour is active and you're actively killing people. So yeah, we have some nice buffs coming. This is already a super good class. People know about it, they just don't really play it. Yeah, that's kind of the build breakdown. Even with the Devour nerf, you can still play fairly aggressive and chain kills. And honestly, I think this is the best class to do it. And not to mention, it is a very good subclass for 1v3 situations. Wow. Or if you're just a solo player and you can't rely on your crappy teammates, which happens a lot, you can't count on anybody else, just count on yourself. If you want this subclass to be the most potent, you're going to want to rely on weapons that ship their TTK. So criminals, for example, Adagio, everyone knows this thing can 2-tap after you get 1 kill, or like a 0.6 time to kill or something stupid. Or right now, Igneous with Golden Tricorn and the artifact mod that gives you Radiant, half a second time to kill. Forgiveness right now is the best in slot sidearm, and with kill clip 0.47 time to kill, you'll delete everything in front of you, get your health back, and you can continuously keep chaining it until you either die or there's no one else to kill. So I plan on this just being the build overview video. I plan on doing like a deep dive, kind of like how I play and like tips and like other little small tricks that you could do on this subclass that would just take too long in this video to go over. But yeah, looking forward to the new melee changes and the empowering rift changes. I think it'll push the subclass even further into like not meta, but a very solid option. And yeah, I think this is a little overdue. I know you guys have been asking for it for a while, and I've just been kind of lazy. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll reply to all of them. I got nothing better to do. I'll probably post some gameplay showing this off a little bit, or you can watch literally any of my other videos because it's the only build I use. So anyways, if you made it this far, thank you for sticking to the end, and yeah, thank you for watching. Adios.